Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in and checking out my latest video. Now, today's video is going to be talking about Canelo Alvarez vacating his WBC middleweight championship. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on this. Also, what's next for Canelo and Gennady Golovkin. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Now, for me as a boxing fan today, very disappointing day in the sport of boxing. We got Canelo Alvarez and Triple G, a fight that everybody wanted to see, but Canelo Alvarez and Oscar De La Hoya, they've been talking very tough, especially Canelo Alvarez in his post-fight interviews. He defeats Miguel Cotto. He talks about how he wants GGG. Then his most recent knockout of Amir Khan, in the ring after that fight, he says, Mexicans, we don't fuck around, I'll fight GGG, I'll put on the gloves, this and that. Well, today was a judgment day. Canelo Alvarez and Golden Boy did not step up to the plate and give the fans the fight they wanted to see, which is highly interesting considering Oscar De La Hoya is the one who always is saying, here at Golden Boy, we want the best to fight the best. Obviously, your motto changed today, Oscar, because this is a fight that the fans wanted to see. These are two of the best in around that weight class because Canelo Alvarez is doing this bullshit where he has his own weight class at 155 pounds. So that's the fight that everybody wanted to see. But once again, the politics of boxing gets in the way of a great fight. The fans who go to live events spend hundreds of dollars on seats, do not get the fight again that we want to see. This is another problem in the sport of boxing. Along with fighters do not want to step up and fight the best competition. Also, the belts don't mean anything to these fighters anymore today. There's so many of them flying around. I mean, probably I wouldn't be surprised if Mauricio Suleiman makes Canelo a belt at 155 and calls it the Gingerweight Championship of the World. And if you do that, Mauricio Suleiman, you do make that belt the 155 Gingerweight Champion of the World Championship belt, you have to give myself, Damon, and Brian from Real Talk Boxing some royalties on that belt. Let me tell you that, my friend, because we made that up. So that's the problem with the sport of boxing. And people are going to make excuses for Canelo Alvarez and Oscar De La Hoya. Oh, we should wait. It doesn't make business sense. I don't give a fuck about the business sense. I want to see the best fight, the best. Man, this is disgusting nowadays. So many excuses for every fight that doesn't take place. I just don't understand it, man. Like, we pay a lot of money, we invest a lot of time into the sport, and then we make excuses for these guys when we don't get fights we want to see. It's ridiculous. So, moving on, guys, from that rant, let's talk about what's next for Canelo Alvarez. Well, definitely in my mind, the next fight for Canelo Alvarez is going to be Canada's own David Lemieux. While this fight is an entertaining fight, and one that I'm going to watch because I watch every fight, yes, including that bullshit fight of Amir Khan and Canelo Alvarez. It's not the major fight, the mega fight that boxing fans wanted to see. And Canelo and them claim that they're still going to try to make this fight with GGG. I definitely don't see it. You just vacated the title, and you gave some lame excuses to why you want to do so. The reason why Canelo did that is he wants more power in the negotiations. But I don't care about that. I want to see the fight. And this guy needs to stop with his 155, his diva. You're a champion at middleweight. It's 160 pounds. Stop holding the title. And I'll give him that. He's finally let the title go. It's not a hostage anymore, and he gave it to Gennady Golovkin. But you see, this validates one point today that I've been saying for years about Gennady Golovkin. This guy's feared by a lot of these fighters in the middleweight division. People always shit on him. They say his resume sucks. He's overrated, this and that. There's a lot of double standards when it comes to Gennady Golovkin. Let me talk to you guys about one. I'll give you an example. So Sergio Martinez, a longtime middleweight champion, took on a gentleman by the name of Martin Murray in Argentina. Martin Murray got robbed in that fight. He should have won that fight. Everybody said that. Gennady Golovkin faces the same guy, Martin Murray. Golovkin knocked him out. He's a bum. He's no good. But yet when Sergio Martinez fought Martin Murray, this guy's a tough customer. Great fight for Sergio Martinez. Did you see the way Sergio fought in that fight? He really gave it his all. That's double standards that happen in the sport of boxing. And that's why Golovkin shouldn't be the guy who everybody shits on and says all these negative things about. Why don't you guys get at these fighters like Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo Alvarez, who clearly doesn't seem to me like these guys want to make this fight? You know what I'm saying? Why don't they get criticized for that? That's the thing I don't understand in the sport of boxing. So now what options does Triple G have left? At middleweight, he has two options in my opinion. You have Danny Jacobs, New York City. Gennady has a big following there. Danny Jacobs is from that region. Good fight. Danny Jacobs stocks at an all-time high. Will Al Haymon let that fight go on? We'll have to wait and see, but that's definitely a fight I'd like to see in a credible tester, Gennady Golovkin. The other one is WBO champion Billy Joe Saunders. Huge fight over in the UK. I really like the style matchup between those two fighters. Um, Billy Joe Saunders uses good feints. He's awkward. He's got a different style that Gennady Golovkin would be against. He takes a good punch. He's a guy with credible wins over Andy Lee recently and Chris Eubank Jr. So that's definitely an interesting fight style-wise that I'd love to see Gennady Golovkin partake in. And honestly, after those two fights, guys, I really don't see much in the sport of boxing at 160 left for Gennady Golovkin. I think he's got to move up to 68. 68, a fight that I'd love to see him in down the road would be against Callum Smith. That guy's going to be the future of the 168-pound division. He's fighting out of Liverpool in the UK. Vicious body puncher, highly entertaining fighter. That fight would be fireworks, and I'd love to see that fight. Also at 68, James DeGale would be an interesting fight with Gennady Golovkin. DeGale can move around. He's awkward. Although recently, from some of the performance from James DeGale, you'd have to lean towards Gennady Golovkin in that matchup. But just some interesting new guys to look at 68. The issue, though, is that people are going to say when he defeats these guys, when he goes up to 68, in my opinion, that these guys are bums because they're not too familiar with them. They're not the star household names. So unfortunately, I don't think he's going to get proper credit for that. But today shows you what Gennady Golovkin brings to the sport of boxing and how he is feared by fighters. I don't believe Oscar De La Hoya and them, like I said, when they were saying that they feel like they're going to make the fight down the road. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. Gennady Golovkin finally got that title that he wanted from Canelo Alvarez. Didn't have to fight the guy. In this day and age, it's kind of sad in the sport of boxing the way the competition level is. That's why I always give a huge shout out to guys like Darnell Boone. Fought everybody in the sport of boxing, fears no man, doesn't care. That's why I have a ton of respect for that dude. He just throws down. He doesn't question anything. He just gets in there and fights. He puts on a show for the fans. Never afraid of a fighter in his life, this guy. True throwback in that regards. We need more of those guys in the sport of boxing. Also, one last point, guys. When people do step up and do take these risky fights, like David Lemieux, for example, after he fought Hassan Naddam, he fought Gennady Golovkin, people ridiculed him for his fight and that he lost to Triple G. Same with Amir Khan. People posted memes making fun of the dude. He got knocked out cold by Canelo. The point that we should realize as boxing fans is those guys stepped up. They should be applauded for that. In this day and age, people don't step up and take risky fights. So let's applaud these guys instead of always making fun of them, even if they come out on the losing end in these fights. That's just my opinion, guys. Let me know what you guys think about the events happening today and what you want to see Triple G do next in the future. And Canelo Alvarez, give me your thoughts on him, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate it, folks. Thanks again.